Throughout NFL history, we've been able to witness some marquee quarterback matchups. Every NFL fan loves to see two all-time great quarterbacks battle it out on the gridiron, but some of the most enticing showdowns between today's top QBs still haven't happened, and the clock is ticking on several of them to transpire before it's too late. Here are 10 dream matchups between current quarterbacks that we still haven't seen. Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. How unfair is this? Patrick Mahomes was sidelined with a knee injury during their Week 8 2019 tilt at Arrowhead. But when the NFL expanded the regular season schedule to 17 games in 2021, the new format gave us another shot at a Rodgers versus Mahomes showdown. However, this time it was Rodgers who missed the game after testing positive for COVID-19. We nearly saw these two teams battle in a Super Bowl as the Chiefs made it to the last two big games, but the Packers lost in the NFC Championship on both occasions, spoiling the chances of a Green Bay KC Super Bowl in the process. It's crazy to think that we could have had four Rodgers versus Mahomes battles, and yet we're still at zero. These two guys are arguably the two top quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Both own a Super Bowl ring, a Super Bowl MVP, and a league MVP award. Rodgers has 3. Rodgers isn't getting any younger, and barring a Super Bowl 56 or 57 showdown, we won't see KC and Green Bay meet again until the 2023 season. I guess there's always the chance that A-Rod joins the Broncos this offseason. Wouldn't that be something? Kyler Murray and Tom Brady. Murray is one of the many young hotshot quarterbacks who has taken the NFL by storm over the last few years. He's also one of the few elite QBs that has yet to go one-on-one with the GOAT. We would have gotten this matchup in 2020 if Brady had stayed with the New England Patriots, but he just had to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win another Super Bowl, so we got Murray versus Cam Newton instead. The good news is that the Cardinals and the Bucs will play each other in the 2022 season. The NFL schedule rotation will pit the entire NFC West versus the NFC South, so Brady versus Murray is locked and loaded. It's not just wanting to see the young Murray go up against the best to ever do it. Just think about all the star power both teams possess on offense. This matchup could easily produce 80-plus points. Dak Prescott versus Lamar Jackson. Dak Prescott suffered a season-ending ankle fracture in Week 5 of the 2020 season. That derailed the Dallas Cowboys' 2020 campaign, and it also prevented us from seeing our first battle between Dak and Lamar Jackson. Backup Andy Dalton instead took the snaps for Dallas in that Week 13 contest, which Baltimore dominated 34-17. And so here we are, still waiting to see two of the league's most explosive quarterbacks battle it out. With the 17-game schedule format, Dallas and Baltimore will meet in 2022 at AT&T Stadium, provided they finish in the same spot in their respective divisions. So if the Cowboys and Ravens win the NFC East and AFC North respectively, we'll get this dream matchup next season. Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. The Bills and Bengals last played in 2019. Josh Allen was in the midst of a stellar sophomore season, and the tanking Bengals were on their way to winning the top selection of the 2020 draft, which turned out to be Joe Burrow. The two teams have yet to square off in Burrow's first 2 NFL seasons, but their respective divisions will face off in 2022. And there's also a very real chance that the Bengals and Bills run into each other this postseason, so we can probably expect to see these two on the same field sooner rather than later. Allen has emerged as a top 5 quarterback thanks to his big arm and impressive scrambling ability. Burrow's arm is no slouch either, though. He's shown an impressive ability to make all the throws while turning a dysfunctional Bengals franchise into a legit contender, kind of like what Allen's done in Buffalo. These two youngsters both figure to keep their teams in title contention for the next decade plus, so don't be surprised if we get a handful of Burrow-Allen playoff matchups over the coming years. And trust me, we're not complaining. Justin Herbert versus Russell Wilson. Justin Herbert entered the NFL in 2020, 2 years after the most recent meeting between the Los Angeles Chargers and Seattle Seahawks. The two clubs will meet again in 2022 with the schedule pitting the AFC West versus the NFC West. But there's a good chance that Wilson will be wearing a new uniform by next year. We've all heard the reports about friction between Russ and Seattle's management, and the franchise needs to rebuild anyway. So if Wilson does get traded, who knows when we'll get to see Wilson versus Herbert. Wilson is a lock for the Hall of Fame. He's turned the Seahawks into a perennial winner since being drafted by the club in 2012. Herbert is hoping to do the same thing with the Chargers, and much like Wilson, he has the skills to do it, with elite downfield accuracy and an impressive ability to scramble when needed. Herbert has enjoyed some thrillers against other veteran quarterbacks like Brady, Roethlisberger, Prescott, and even the retired Drew Brees. But again, if Wilson isn't a Seahawk in 2022, who knows how long we'll have to wait for this dream showdown. Tom Brady versus Joe Burrow. With Brady now in his mid-40s, the clock is ticking on him getting the chance to face the top quarterbacks of tomorrow. Fortunately, we won't have to wait too long for a TB12 versus Burrow meeting. That's because the Bengals are slated to visit the Buccaneers in 2022. That's good news for Brady, historically speaking, because he went 7-1 against Cincinnati during his tenure with the New England Patriots. Burrow has already displayed his ability to go toe-to-toe with some of the NFL's premier veteran quarterbacks. With Brady seemingly nearing the end of his career, the likelihood is that Burrow will only have the fortunes of facing him once. If this turns out to be a classic between the two superstar QBs, it'll go down in history. And when you consider the stacked receiving groups both teams have, yeah, that 2022 meeting could be a legitimate Game of the Year candidate. Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, we aren't exactly talking about a pair of top QB quarterbacks or MVP candidates here. They both have shown plenty of promise and should remain the long-term options for the Philadelphia Eagles and Dolphins, respectively. Although I guess you never really know, what with both teams being involved in the Deshaun Watson rumors and all. Either way, it's obviously not the talent levels that makes a Tua versus Hurts matchup so appealing. There's so much more to this. As a true freshman, Tua backed up Hurts during the Alabama Crimson Tide's 2017 season. Nick Saban's squad advanced to the national championship game against Georgia that year, but Hurts was pulled midway through the game following a frustrating first-half performance. His replacement? None other than Tua, who walked it off with a game-winning touchdown strike to Devonta Smith, who's Hurts' current teammate in Philly, by the way. Hurts decided to transfer to Oklahoma for his final college season in 2019, while Tua continued to dominate in Alabama before suffering an unfortunate season-ending hip injury. Nonetheless, the Dolphins chose him with the number 5 selections in 2020. Hurts played well enough at Oklahoma and was taken 53rd overall by the Eagles. He then relieved a struggling Carson Wentz late in the 2020 season, and did enough during that audition to earn the starting job for 2021. Who knows where they'd both be if not for that 2018 national championship game. Would Tua have ever become an NFL starter? Would Jalen even have a starting opportunity if the Eagles didn't draft him? That unforgettable night on January 8, 2019 changed their lives for the better, and that's largely why we are waiting impatiently for their first showdown at the NFL level. Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. This one doesn't need much of an explanation. Garoppolo was drafted 62nd overall by the New England Patriots in 2014. Belichick clearly had an eye on him for the long-term future, believing that TB12 wouldn't fight off Father Time for, well, as long as he has at this point. But as we know, Brady just kept performing at a superstar level and won 2 more Super Bowls in New England, while Garoppolo backed him up. And then ahead of the 2017-18 postseason, ESPN's Seth Wickersham published a bombshell report that claimed Belichick had actually tried to move on from Brady after the Super Bowl 51 championship, wanting to move forward with Garoppolo instead. Reports stated that owner Robert Kraft vetoed the trade, which led to Belichick trading Jimmy G to the 49ers ahead of the 2017 trade deadline for a second-round pick. Brady stuck around and led New England to a 6th Super Bowl title in the 2018 season. A year later, Garoppolo's 49ers reached Super Bowl 54, narrowly falling to the Chiefs. There were also reports that Brady wanted to sign with the 49ers when he entered 2020 free agency, but San Fran was happy to keep Garoppolo instead. Well, all Brady did was go on to win his 7th ring in his first year with the Bucs. Go figure. So yeah, there's the story. Brady didn't retire as a Patriot, and Garoppolo never took over as Tommy's successor in New England, like Bill Belichick had planned. We don't know how Brady and Jimmy G feel about each other in real life, but more than 4 years after the Garoppolo trade, we're still waiting for their first showdown. Aaron Rodgers versus Justin Herbert. The next scheduled Packers-Chargers meeting is in 2023, unless the two teams meet in Super Bowl 56 or 57. That's a long shot, of course, and again, who even knows if Rodgers will still be with Green Bay in 2023. Anyway, Rodgers and Herbert are 2 of the game's must-watch quarterbacks. Yes, the A-Rod's resume is much more impressive at this point, but Herbert is on a trajectory to be a multi-time MVP winner and a Hall of Famer. Rodgers is a top 3 QB right now, but Herbert figures to enter that conversation over these next few years. We already mentioned all the veteran star QBs that Herbert's got to face so far, but you can add Rodgers to the list alongside Russell Wilson's name as guys we're still itching to see him face off with. If Rodgers does make the move to Denver, he'd go from never playing Mahomes and Herbert to playing both superstar QBs twice a season. Patrick Mahomes versus Kyler Murray. In terms of individual skills and highlight reel plays, nobody does it better than these two. It's like their respective baseball backgrounds have helped Murray and Mahomes become virtually unstoppable forces at quarterback in the NFL. They're just so much fun to watch with their rocket arms, pinpoint accuracy, and mad scrambling abilities. Mahomes is the better passer, but Murray is unquestionably the better runner. The bottom line, both are can't-miss generational talents that will dominate the NFL landscape for years to come. The good news, the Chiefs are slated to visit the Cardinals in the 2022 season, so their intra-conference matchup that happens just once every 4 years is finally around the corner. Circle your calendar for 2022 because it'll be here before we know it. What other dream quarterback matchups are you hoping to finally see? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like the video and hit the like button, we really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that, so hit that button too. And until next time, tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you.